Hi Taurus, this is your reading for April 2019. Thank you so much for clicking and joining me for your reading. Please set aside anything that you're doing so that all your presence is with me and you're not multitasking and having any distractions. While I'm shuffling, I'd like for you to please take a moment here to check in with your higher self and your guides. If you take a moment to do this here, you'll find that you'll get much more relevant messages for you, as they will be tailored once we set up a feedback loop between my higher self and your higher self. The communication channels will be open and messages will be tailored for you, irrespective of time and space. So please do that now. Take a moment here to check in with your higher self and guides and ask them to connect with me, with my higher self, and with my guides, so that we can get really clear messages for you. Really interesting cards here, Taurus. The bottom of the deck, you have the King of Cups in reverse. And there's different characters here in the spread. I'll go through these cards in detail one by one, but what stands out at me at first is that across the central axis of the reading, now this axis that I read, this horizontal axis here, as sort of past to present, with the central card being kind of like the present moment, like the real center of everything. But it can also be kind of like this axis here could be read as the physical world, the mundane world, and this vertical axis could be read as the sort of your spiritual or your emotional, mental world. And these cards here are the unconscious mind and to the conscious mind, and from here you have, as I said, a recent past to the near future. Now, across this central axis of the reading, you have three really powerful feminine archetypal cards. In the past, you have the Queen of Cups. At the center of the reading, you have the High Priestess. And in the position of the outcome, you have the Queen of Swords in reverse. I feel that for some of you, and given some of the context of other cards here in the reading, I feel that what's going on here is that some of you are dealing with a feeling of betrayal. And you're kind of... You're sensing a lot of things, like you're gathering a lot of information through your spidey senses, and your intuition is speaking very loudly to you. But there's part of you that I kind of want to go all over the place here. I'm just going to go with it because it's what's happening. So you have this Emperor here in reverse in the position of the outcome, with this Knight of Cups in reverse as well. And being that these two cards are here in the position of the outcome, I feel that there is, for some of you, a male character that's been in your life. For some of you, this person may have been in and out of your life. And for some of you, there may have been a moment where recently there was some disconnect or some space between you. That's what I feel here. And perhaps recently this person is kind of circling back around to check back in and see what's going on and open up the channels of communication again. And what I feel is here is that you have been kind of like reluctant to be communicative with this person, but for some reason at recent moment, you might have just felt like somehow the person's timing was right, that you were just open enough in that moment to actually be sort of receptive to their communication. But even though there's this receptivity here, there's like there's an opening here. There's like there is something about you that wants to hear what this person has to say, and you're hoping to kind of like hear what you need to hear in order to trust this person enough again to actually let them back into the fold. But I get the feeling here that this person is not actually really giving you everything that you need in order to feel trustful again. And that's why I'm seeing this. That's why I feel this Knight of Cups and the Emperor is in the reverse position here in the outcome. It's like maybe they want to give you the impression that they've kind of sorted themselves out, that they've cleaned themselves up, whether it's someone that you've been dealing with that has addictive personality that you may have kind of taken space from in order for them to kind of get themselves cleaned up and sort of, you know, rehabilitated. And maybe you're kind of like hoping they'll come back around in a good space. And perhaps they have been working. I do feel that this person has been working, and they have been making strides, and they have been achieving and accomplishing personal development and gains within their own sort of inner journey of discovery and learning and growing and evolving. But there's still some residual feeling here with this Queen of Swords in reverse, and with this World in reverse, and these other cards here at the the Knight of Cups and the Emperor. I feel that you feel that you're not completely willing yet to come throw the doors open and have your arms open wide and receive this person back into your life and let them establish themselves again as a fixture in your world, in your community. There's some reluctance there. I feel that. And it's not for me to say whether or not you're right in that decision. I can only tell you what I'm seeing here in the cards, and that is that I'm just sensing your inhibition towards this person. Now, cards here at the bottom of the deck, at the bottom of the spread, are very interesting. You have this Ten of Swords in reverse at the foundation of the reading. Now, this card is the fulcrum. I read this card here as rather important in the whole spread, because this is the card in which the whole spread is resting upon and swiveling upon. So that's why I call this card the fulcrum. Now, here you have the Ten of Swords in reverse, and this is saying to me that there is perhaps some unresolved pain potentially caused by this person. And this could go both ways, of course. Like, this person could also be feeling this way about you. There's definitely, I'm feeling pain within the dynamic of these two individuals, or there's definitely like a correspondence going on between individuals. And this may or may not be a romantic relationship. This could be a family member, a friend, a co-worker, a lover, a partner, a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever. Someone that you've known this person for some time. But as I said, the sensation I get is that this person has been in and out of your life. Now, with this card being here at the foundation, there's this feeling here that there is still some unresolved, I'm hearing dilemma. I feel like that for you, the dilemma is, like I said, whether or not to keep your doors open and let this person back into your life after you've taken space from them. And you may be wondering whether or not you're making the right decision in doing so, because perhaps on one hand, you may have felt like you finally extracted yourself from this very sticky situation, from this very sticky dynamic with this person, and maybe gained some clarity in the recent past when you actually took that space. But the dilemma, I feel, is that on the other hand, you still want to give this person the benefit of the doubt, because you see the good qualities in them. You see the potential that they have. King of Wands and Emperor. This is a very powerful person. This person has a lot of potential. This person has amazing qualities. There's a lot of really incredible, powerful, beneficial, beautiful qualities within the archetype of this person. But being that the Emperor is here in reverse and the King of Wands here is in the crossing card position over you, it does feel like there's a lot of challenging aspects to this person that you have been dealing with for some time, right? Now down here we have the Moon in reverse with the Two of Swords in reverse, Five of Cups in reverse, and Five of Wands upright. So these cards all lend themselves to the interpretation that I just made, where I said there is difficulties in this relationship. There is some very challenging and complicated aspects to relating to this person. You know, the two fives you have here indicate that there could have been some argumentativeness, there could have been some, you know, tension, conflict, strife, abuse, abandonment. With this Cups card here, the Five of Cups card here, I'm sensing that there could have been, as I said, addictions or, you know, alcoholism, things like that. Again, could be both people or one or the other, vice versa, right? And then this Moon in reverse with the Two of Swords in reverse feels like to me there is deception going on. There is some dishonesty. There is a lack of clarity. There's confusion. Now these cards are in the position of your environment. So I feel like this is the energy that you have around you. And I sense that this person kind of gives you this feeling of confusion sometimes. Like, you know, maybe that's been part of the dilemma, is that on one hand, like, there is all these amazing qualities within this person, but then on the other hand, you get so muddled and confused in your energy, and there's this feeling of tension within you that you're not clear about whether or not this person is actually good or not. Is this person actually a good person or not? Or are they just really, really good at hiding their abuse and manipulation because they're so charming and charismatic that you can't tell sometimes, like, what is going on here? It's very, very interesting energy, very confusing energy at the same time. Now, having the moon in reverse here with this Two of Swords, and then at the heart of the reading you have this High Priestess card, which I feel is you more or less. And then at the top of the reading you have the World card in reverse. So these 4 cards here are super interesting, and I feel that there is something here again around, like, you know, the High Priestess is saying there could be secrets here. There is the moon in reverse is definitely giving that vibe of secrets and hidden information and deceit or deceptiveness. Along with the Two of Swords in reverse is saying that, like, you sense it, but you can't put your finger on it, so you kind of can't really call it out. You can't really just name it, and you can't really confront the person because you can't really be sure or not whether or not this person is actually tricking you or deceiving you or not, because it's really unclear. But at the heart of the reading, being that you are coming up here as the High Priestess, there is something here to be said about, like, trusting your intuition and really, like, listening to what you feel, because there you are upright at the very heart of the reading, showing up as this, like, intuitive person with knowing. Right, now World at the top of the reading, as I said, in the crowning card position here in reverse. All I can say about this card here in this position, and I haven't talked about this quadrant yet and a couple of other cards, I'll come back to it in a second, but what I feel is here, the World card in reverse, sitting above you, crowning you as the High Priestess in the heart of the reading, there is this feeling here that there's unfinished business. And whether or not you distrust this person, whether or not you have any sort of ambition to, like, unlock this mystery, deep down and also crowning you, deep down and above you, above and below, there is this feeling here that it's not finished yet. Even if you kind of close the door on this person or took some space and like really kind of sort of shut them out in a way, there's something within you that feels like there's still something there that you can't just, like, walk away from. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't finished. I can't say that. As I said earlier, I can only read this. I'm reading your energy. Your energy is coming through here in these cards, saying that you feel like it's unfinished, and maybe you are not willing yet to totally close the door on this thing because you still feel like there's something to understand. In the position of the hopes and fears, you have Ten of Pentacles in reverse with Four of Wands. Again, all this says to me is that this is a very tight bond with this person. As I said, it doesn't have to be a partner or a lover or a husband or a wife or a boyfriend. It doesn't have to be that kind of relationship. But there is something incredibly deep here. There's a type of union with this person that is quite profound, and I would say is like, and maybe that's why there's this World card here in reverse at the top of the reading. There's a feeling from you that's like, there's something, could be karmic here, like with this relationship. There could be something that, you know, there is a feeling, the feeling that I get here is that there is something big that could be really understood here. And it could be about this person, but at the end of the day, it's never ever about the other person. It's always about you, us, yourself, right? There is something in the dynamic between these two people which feels kind of binding, and like this Four of Wands card here is traditionally the marriage card, right? And this Ten of Pentacles is also like a kind of bonded marriage card, family unit kind of an energy. And I really feel that there's something here, like, I'm hearing inheritance, but it's not like an inheritance with actual money or goods or property or anything. It's more like an inherited karmic thing, some kind of karmic thing here. But I think it's important to note that I feel like the word and the meaning and the understanding of karma needs to be rehabilitated, because I think the way people use it is very misappropriated. My personal take on karma is that, you know, you only have to kind of live something through as long as until the point you become aware about it, right? So in regards to this person or this situation, you're not indebted to anyone. You're not indebted to anyone. You can walk away at any time. And this idea of there being some unfinished business is a choice that you make. It's a choice that you make. For some of you, if this is a situation where we're talking about a baby daddy or a baby mommy and your relationship with this person has dissolved, but there's still, you know, children and family and things to take care of, then yeah, it is unfinished business. But you don't need to carry on with some kind of energetic cords of drama that keep you binded in some kind of really unhealthy dynamic with this person. You can go about co-parenting in a very clean way without any kind of cords or threads or drama or baggage or bullshit. That's your choice to bring that kind of stuff into the story. So try to keep things clean as much as possible here. And just understand that, you know, at any point, if you are ready to kind of be done, you can still relate to this person in a polite and in a collaborative way. If there's, you know, co-parenting to do or work to take care of, or, you know, even resources that need to be managed and dissolved, then do that without any of the energetic kind of emotional weirdness or unnecessary kind of entanglements or drama. Now, this Queen of Swords here in reverse in the position of the outcome, I feel that for some of you there is the potential here that again, this feels connected to this World card in reverse, where it's a sensation of like unfinished business. The Queen of Swords in reverse here could indicate that for some of you, you may be dragging something on longer than it needs to be dragged on because you're not really willing to accept the truth. You know, maybe some of you haven't been able to resolve this sensation here. This person's amazing and they have some incredible qualities, but they also have these incredibly troublesome insecurities that overpower those incredible qualities and make this person very diminished in their power. And until this person works that out, like it's not your job to help them do that. That's what I was trying to get at before with this whole like feeling of unfinished business. It's not your job to help this person become their potential. It's their job. And all you can do is be your own powerful self, be your own self-loving person, be compassionate and kind. But it's not your job to take care of their pain and their insecurity. Nobody can do that for anyone. Each person has to be responsible for themselves in that way. So if you're kind of trying to still resolve the situation by thinking you can fix this person in order to get them to the potential that you see, that's the danger here with this Queen of Swords in reverse. Don't do that. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, King of Cups reversed, Two of Pentacles reversed, Page of Swords reversed, Six of Wands in reverse too. So let's see. I feel again with this King of Cups in reverse, this can be another indicator of this same kind of archetypal person who has a lot of potential but is perhaps a little immature in some ways. It doesn't have quite the emotional intelligence functioning to their potential. This is a person who could have some self-sabotaging behavior. And then these other cards here are kind of saying like, it's up to you. You know, you got to make a choice. Are you gonna keep investing? Are you going to keep putting energy into something that you know previously you had been investing a lot in, and it was frustrating, and you started to feel like a bit of a crazy person because you sensed that some things went right, but this person was so always charismatic and charming and nice and like confusing. So someone came to the door just now, so I'm just taking a second to get back into the reading. Yeah, making a decision about whether or not you will keep investing or keep attempting or keep putting energy in. Now the Page of Swords here with the Six of Wands, both in reverse. I feel like this Page of Swords is saying that you're kind of maybe maintaining a position where you want to be like really cautious about what you communicate, and or even if you communicate. I feel like there's like it's a very reluctant energy to speak up. And the Six of Wands here is like kind of, it feels to me like this card is sort of a reminder of how it felt. Maybe at the last time you communicated with this person, I feel like there was some sense, this feeling here like it wasn't a successful, victorious kind of celebration of people, you know, exhibiting human qualities at their peak, let's say. So that's perhaps where some of the reluctance in communicating again is coming from. It's that feeling of like it didn't necessarily feel so awesome the last time, you know, you were in contact. But I'll just check over here and see if there's anything else to say. I feel that this is the end of the general reading. We'll take the Voyager deck in a second and do another spread for the higher octave. But I just want to check over here. This Queen of Cups here in the position of the recent past, and the High Priestess here at the center of the reading, both to me feel like very empowered versions of you, feeling incredibly in touch with your feelings, having done a lot of work to kind of feel empowered and centered and grounded and emotionally stable, emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent, intuitive, guided by your intuition, hearing and feeling and thinking clearly with your higher self in like really clear contact with your physical entity. So these two very empowered cards here in these two positions are kind of like, I feel like I want to touch on those to kind of just remind you to kind of remember that space and maintain that kind of clarity. Because other cards around here in the reading, like this Moon in reverse with the Two of Swords, also the Queen of Swords in reverse, these are feeling a little bit less clear, less empowered. There's like confusion energy, there's sort of, you know, not necessarily dreamy energy, but blurry energy. There's some like lack of clarity there. And the Queen of Swords in reverse may be a little bit, the feeling I'm getting from this Queen of Swords in reverse here is that you want to have compassion for this person and maybe like open the door to them again, but this kind of compassion is actually not the, like, I'm hearing dangerous. I just feel like if you open the door to this person again and and you deny what your intuition is saying to you about them, then you could be like creating a little space for some, you know, troublesome circumstances again, potentially. I'm hearing dignity. Let me see if I can get more on what that means. I feel like it's a message for you to just sort of maintain a sort of kind of clear space, being dignified in yourself. Maybe I should just look that up and see what it means before I close out this reading. Dignity, or dignified, having or showing composed or serious manner that is worthy of respect. Make something seem worthy and impressive. Give an impressive name to. Dignity is the state of quality of being worthy or honor or respect. Okay, that totally makes sense then. So I feel like the message here is then like command respect by maintaining a certain space, and if you maintain that space, then you don't leave any room for someone to disrespect you or to take advantage of you or to misuse your compassion and kindness. That was my concern about this card, is that you want to maintain a space of compassion and give someone the benefit of the doubt and give them space to kind of be themselves again in your space again. But if you are not careful, that person can then have room to take advantage of you. So if you maintain a sense of dignity, according to the definition that we just read, then if you are self-respecting and self-loving and self-caring in a way that is clearly communicated to others, then there's no room for anyone to take the piss out of you. So let's leave it there. I'm going to go through into the Voyager deck now and give you a higher octave reading. So using the same layout, we're going to do another spread using this deck. This reading will give us a little more insight in what's happening on a karmic and on a spiritual level, hopefully providing some insight on how to best move forward and how to make the most of the opportunities that are available to us with these energies. So please take a moment while I'm shuffling to send your energy over into the deck so I can get really clear messages for you. Sage of Crystals reversed, crossed by the Six of Wands. Four of Cups in reverse. Ace of Wands. Sage of Wands in reverse. Child of Worlds in reverse. Death. Chariot in reverse. Child of Crystals in reverse. And Man of Cups, this time upright. So there's a few repeating cards here in the spread. Three of Cups in reverse. The Star in reverse. Six of Cups in reverse, and Six of Crystals. Bottom of the deck, Nine of Cups. Okay. It's interesting, you know, in the previous spread you had this Woman of Cups in the upright position, and in this reading you have the Sage of Wands in the same position in reverse. In this deck it's called Seer. And then in the center of the reading you had the High Priestess, and in this reading you have the Sage of Crystals, but this time both of these two archetypes are in reverse. Now they kind of feel like the same person, but like the other side of the coin in a way. Like these two cards here representing the other aspect is here. What I mean by that is that I feel that on one hand you have this sort of clarity and wisdom and understanding and a knowing, and on the other hand there's a sort of, I'm hearing emotional weakness. I feel like this person has a very specific, particular energy that has a kind of hold on you that is, again, like hard to be clear about. It's confusing. It's a little hard to kind of like be really detached from this person. They kind of tug at your heartstrings in a particular way. So even though you may have been hurt by them before in the past in ways that felt like unacceptable, I'm never going to let this happen again, right now you might be considering letting this person back in. And again, it's not my place, nor is it my job to tell you what you should and should not do. It's not my job. What I'm here to do is explain to you some of the influences that are at play that you may not be aware of, so that you can make clear decisions for yourself. Now what it's showing here is that potentially this person has maybe some like really deep-seated anger that this card is Four of Cups in reverse, and in this deck it's called anger. I'll show it to you in the upright position. I feel like this person has anger issues. This card is crowning the reading. And again, I just feel like there is something about this person that could be confusing, you know. You have 3 sixes in the reading, creating this triad, this triangle, this kind of tripod here. You have the Six of Wands in the center of the reading as the crossing card. Here is the Six of Crystals called Confusion with Death. And here is the Six of Cups in reverse with Chariot in reverse. So it's this interesting tripod here of sixes. Now sixes can be very harmonious, and it relates to the Lovers card from the Major Arcana. But here in this reading, it gives a different feeling. The interpretation I would have to give is that it's almost suggesting an instability. You know, because you have the Six of Crystals in this deck is called Confusion. And it's paired here with the Death card. So it's almost as if the interpretation or the message that I feel to pass to you is that it's time to put an end to that confusion and just like have clarity based on what you feel, and maybe not let your emotions cloud your clarity of mind. And then this six here, the Six of Cups, is called Sorrow. It's called Sorrow in this deck. It's in reverse here, and it's with the Chariot. And these cards in this position describe your environment. Okay, so what I feel the interpretation for you here is with these two cards. It's almost, I mean, I know it could be confusing because I said listen to your emotions, but at the same time, your emotional state is a little bit too cloudy. So, like, when I say emotions, what do I mean? I'm talking more about your gut instinct, your feeling, like your gut feeling. It's there. It's underneath. It's underneath these other kind of watery, washing emotions that are like have the capacity to weaken you because they are coming from a different place than where your instinct is coming from. It could be coming from the mind, actually, too much thinking about this person or this situation or this potential that you feel is there, right? Now, what else is here? At the foundation, you have this beautiful Ace of Wands in the upright position. It's called Brilliance in this deck. Sorry, it's called Illumination. And this card is, as I said, in the position of the fulcrum, which is the card that the whole reading is resting on. It's coming from the subconscious mind. I feel that there's a clarity here. It's suggesting that in your unconscious mind, in the subconscious, there's an opening to an awareness of a clarity, a vitality, of a sensation of understanding. And again, if you're dealing with someone that you feel has emotional disturbances that they are not dealing with in the right way, then the potential for you, if you create a proximity towards this person again, then you're opening yourself up to a correspondence. So you could be potentially putting yourself in a direct line of fire of this person's unexpressed emotional energy. And that's perhaps part of what this reading is about, is that it's sort of a warning about that, you know. Again, I'm not telling you not to get involved with this person. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just it's my job is to present to you things that are in your energetic field that you may not be aware of, so that you can make decisions on your own. Now, what else is here? In the position of hopes and fears, you have the Child of Crystals in reverse and the Star in reverse. The Child of Crystals relates to this Page of Swords. It's the same card. This Rider-Waite deck, the Voyager deck is a little more gender neutral, I would say, with some of the court card aspects, the archetypes from the court. So the Page, the Queen, the King, the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and the King correspond to the Child, the Man, the Woman, and the Sage. So the Child relates to the Page, and the Sage relates to a kind of a gender neutral version of whatever that epitome of that suit is, a mastery over that element. Now, Child of Crystals here with the Star in reverse. I feel that, again, like I spoke about this Page of Swords in reverse here being about you being reluctant to communicate, there being a kind of hesitation or a desire to be very, very careful about what you say based on having your previous experience having maybe not been so successful or I keep hearing adventure. Anyway, recent past, perhaps your last interaction with this person was not so successful, and so it's leaving you in the space where you are wanting to be very careful, very particular about your communication. Now, here in the position of the hopes and fears, you have the Child of Crystals and the Star, both in reverse. Now, the Child of Crystals in this deck is called Learner. So I feel that what's here is that there is in you. It's very beautiful, actually. The energy I feel here is very beautiful. It's very, there's an openness in it, a childlike wonder of wanting to be open to learning and growing. And there's a hopefulness that comes with that. With the Star energy, there's as much as this relationship in the past may have been fraught with some difficulties and some strife and some confusion and challenging moments, there is some part of you that's still very hopeful and wanting to explore what's possible there, what is there to learn, what is there to understand, how can I grow from this relationship, how can I understand myself and life better through the reflection that this person brings me. And that's a very beautiful, very beneficial and very positive energy. And if that's still how you feel, then definitely pursue, moving forward with this person in a way where you can seek to learn more about yourself. But I think the important thing to understand in those kind of experiences where when you relate to another person, where the proximity is so close that you're reflecting one-on-one in a certain way, where you have that direct correspondence of information, you have to be clear that those lessons are relevant to you or not, right? Like if you put yourself in the line of fire, as I said earlier, if you put yourself in the position of reflecting one-on-one with this person because of the proximity, the closeness, then you have to be aware that you will have to deal with certain things that come up. And at a certain point, if you understand that some of the things that this person is dealing with are not relevant to you, that it's their stuff and not your stuff, and you may have already worked through your things. And again, it's a case-by-case situation. I'm not telling you to close the door on everyone and just give up or stop loving and caring about someone. It's just, as I said, it comes down to you. It's like your decision to make, like whether or not you're going to keep being patient and compassionate and waiting and supporting someone in their growth path. But at a certain point, you need to feel like they are acknowledging you and supporting you as well, and being there for you in your growth as well. You know, like if it's all one-sided, that's the point I was trying to make. If it's all one-sided and you're the one that's giving and supporting and nurturing and caring and showing compassion and being available for that kind of heightened experience of relating and the correspondence that comes with that proximity, but you're not feeling met and reciprocated on the other hand, then we come back full circle to this kind of issue about dignity and self-respect and self-love. Like, are you actually having self-worth enough that this person understands that you cannot disrespect me? You understand what I'm saying? Here we have the man of cups upright, which relates to this king of cups, similar energy. And this card is called the Three of Cups, and it's called love in this deck, and it's in reverse. So, again, love is another thrown around word. Are we talking about like unconditional love, or are we talking about romantic love? Yeah, what is it? At the bottom of the deck we have the Nine of Cups. There's the Priestess again, this time again upright. Four of Wands again, which we also had in the previous reading, upright. And here is the Temperance card in reverse. So, what this is feeling like to me is that the energy, like this kind of this is kind of a closing energy of this reading, and it feels to me like you are gaining an understanding about, and again, there's no definitive answer here about whether or not you will either get back together with this person or let this person back into your life or go back to that boss or whatever. It doesn't say that, but what it does say here is that you are growing in your understanding of your personal power. The Priestess and the Nine of Cups, I feel, is really speaking clearly to that. Like there's a gathering of strength and power that comes from these two cards in the upright position. Like your sense of well-being is coming from within. It's not about how another person sees you or behaves towards you or treats you or needs you or wants you or any of that stuff. There's like a growing here in a sense of like personal power and personal development coming from a space within of like understanding your true nature, understanding how incredibly powerful you are, understanding how worthy you are, like really filling up your own cup, so to speak, and not waiting for someone else to nurture you, but bringing that nurturing energy to yourself. Really beautiful. And then this Four of Wands card, which again I said had in the previous reading there, it relates to this Four of Wands. But in this deck it's called Aspiration, and I feel like it's less about a union with someone else and a dynamic that's brought about by someone else's reflection with you. And this is more about your own personal journey of aspiring to grow, to learn, to really like sit in the seat of your own power and reach forward and upward and deep and within you, be from that space. It's a healing force of self-discovery, of self-understanding, of a reclamation of power. And I think that if that's what you need to get out of this dynamic with this person, is to see your own strength and your own beauty and your own power, then great. And whether or not you continue to relate with them or have them close by is, after that, is up to you. Depends. Is it fun? Do you enjoy each other? Or are you like confused and emotional and fighting all the time? Like, what do you want? And then finally, this temperance in reverse here. I feel that the message here is simply about, like, again, it's tying into what I spoke about there about, you know, power, reclamation. This is about resolving and clarifying and purifying your own energy field, and understanding that, like, you can accept where this person's at. You don't have to try to change them. You don't have to imagine that when they reach their potential, then they'll be perfect for you or something like that. It's just about acceptance. Where they are is where they are, and where you are is where you are. And perhaps in other lifetimes, when you were kind of together with this person, maybe the shoe was on the other foot, and they were supporting you and guiding and nurturing you to rise up and you know, grow in love. Maybe that's something about karma that could be here, you know. But again, as I said, there's no debt. We need to overcome this idea that there's some kind of debt that we need to pay back, that we should stay in difficult situations because we owe somebody something that's not really real. I feel that's your reading, Taurus, for April. I hope you found that supportive and encouraging and enlightening and inspiring. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. There's a lot of information there. I would recommend that you watch it back again now, and perhaps later on in the month give it another review to see. Things might not make any sense at all right now, but as events unfold later on in the month, this reading might be very, very, very helpful to see it again. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I appreciate all of the subscriptions. And if you want to know when new readings are being uploaded, hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next month's reading.